Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And I just want to start off this video talking a little bit about regulatory issues as well as regulatory acceptance for crypto. We do see over in Hong Kong, which does want to become a crypto hub. We actually have the announcement over here. So we do see one country, two crypto systems. Hong Kong harbors crypto hub ambitions despite China's crackdown. And we do see over here, the crypto industry has been a rough year, or has had a rough year, sorry, with digital currency markets crashing and companies collapsing across the board. In spite of the turmoil, Hong Kong is pushing to become a virtual asset hub. And yes, they are becoming a big deal in terms of what Hong Kong is trying to do. But I do think that even outside of Hong Kong, we have a lot of major things happening in May, and we'll get to that here in a second. But I do think that Hong Kong is moving pretty quickly. I mean, even recently, we did see cryptocurrencies property in Hong Kong court rules for the first time, bolstering city's efforts to promote industry. In a case involving now defunct crypto exchange Gatecoin, a court ruled that cryptocurrencies are property that can form the subject of a trust. The landmark ruling gives legal basis to what many lawyers already believed about crypto, as Hong Kong vies to become a virtual asset hub. And I do think that the recent push with them creating this framework that is going to be released in May is going to be a big deal. But also, guess what? The UAE. I just recently talked about the UAE. I actually talked about this in a recent video as well. I do think that they are becoming a major player. They've always been a major player as well around crypto, but we do see proposes bill to create a decentralized economy for its free zone with 100% tax exemptions. Like, this is huge in terms of crypto adoption and acceptance, and I do think that this is really going to push them ahead of most of the other competition. But I do think that the US is in a sticky situation, because currently right now we still are seeing this major battle still going on within the US around crypto. And I do think that it's pushing us further and further behind in the race towards crypto adoption and acceptance. And I think that the first major nation that has, or I should say, becomes a crypto hub is going to be the ones that really reap the benefits and the rewards of that. Because to me personally, this is the next evolution of finance and technology, etc. And I think that, who's ever last, well, they're going to regret it. And I've said it around, the US, but this is going to be happening in May. And we do see a few things around this. So the registration authority of the Abu Dhabi global market recently published a consultation paper. The same put forth proposals for a legal framework for distributed ledger technology. Very interesting. And this is going to be released. So we do see the deadline for providing comments on the proposed framework is Friday, May 12th. After receiving your comments, we shall consider whether any modifications are required to the proposals, and the ADGM Board of Directors will then proceed to enact their proposal in their form, or the proposal in their form. And then here we have a few things down here in terms of what they are doing around the design for the new regime. They're also talking about even CBDCs up here, like also read CBDC. UAE Central Bank launches its digital dirham strategy. But this is more so talking about DLT and really kind of talking about the future of DLT and crypto itself. But to me, like I said, this is going to be a big deal for the US. I think that the US is going to start to really push towards acceptance and adoption of crypto if enough nations, start really creating these frameworks. And it seems as though it's not just the UAE, it's not just Hong Kong, but it's also even the UK. We've been talking about the UK for a while, and we did see this get posted on the 25th. Regulation of digital assets in the UK highlights regulation may be able to mitigate some of the harm, but it will not be able to stop all risk in relation to crypto, in particular risk of financial loss. Consumers who buy crypto must be prepared to lose all their money. Like, what's the difference in traditional finance? Like, look at the traditional banking stocks. I mean, most of them are down 50+% year to date. We expect crypto promotions to be treated on par with other high-risk investments, and failure to comply will be a criminal offense. We want industry's input to make sure we get the future regulatory regime for crypto assets right. We have to have a conversation with policymakers, investors, and consumers about the limits of regulation and the appetite for risk. And it is very interesting that we are starting to see a major push around crypto regulations. But again, I really go back to that idea of decentralization and a focus on decentralization. Like, I think that the UAE is far ahead of anything else out there. And I think that this is going to be the one that most people focus on in terms of 100% tax exemptions and things like that, because this is huge. Like, not getting taxed on crypto, That's a big deal because, again, I think most people are tired of getting taxed multiple times on their money. Like, I already got taxed on the money that I'm putting into crypto. I don't need to get taxed again when I pull my money out of crypto. You know what I mean? So as we really kind of look at this, yeah, I think that this is a big deal in terms of the UAE. But yeah, it seems as though the UK is hyper-focused on DeFi. We do see UK tax authority proposes legislative change to treatment of DeFi lending and staking. The proposal, now open for public consultation, will also apply to crypto lending and staking through intermediaries, the authority said. And this got posted today. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen. So we do see the consultation is open for 8 weeks and closes on June 22nd. So the next 2 months seems like it's going to be very interesting around regulatory issues and concerns. We also, as XRP holders, are waiting for the judge to rule. We have been waiting for that for a while now. But also, outside of that, like in the US, we are at a significant turning point. And that turning point is the fact that, like, one, the consequences of the US to not only fail to adopt crypto regulations, but also even make transparent or any sort of clear ruling around crypto is pushing us further and further behind. And we even do see here from Susan Friedman on the consequences of the US failure to adopt crypto regulations. The US failure to adopt clear crypto regulations means driving an activity offshore, which restricts our ability to monitor for illicit and criminal activity, the exact opposite result of what critics are calling for. Listen to Ripple board member discuss the serious national security risk posed by the US regulatory paralysis in this Twitter Spaces. And you guys are more than welcome to go listen into this. It's 40 minutes long. But yeah, I do think that we're at this turning point where, you know, we are starting to see a big focus put on these regulators in the US. I think that we need to make sure that these regulators, one, understand the harm that they're doing. Most of them already do. In my opinion, I think that the SEC 100% understands and knows the harm that they are doing. And I think that they've known it for a while. And I think that this is all by plan. Like, listen, we've talked about this for so long on this channel. The SEC lawsuit itself with Ripple is one of the largest, if not it is the largest litigation case right now around finance, and it has been for well over decades. So as we really kind of look at what we are seeing right now, we are seeing an attack on innovation. We are seeing an attack on US citizens as well. I mean, our freedom to be able to, you know, utilize this technology, invest in this technology, and, you know, really reap the rewards of being in this technology asset class early enough is being stifled. And I think that a lot of our investments are still being stifled right now, currently, with what the SEC has done. And we even do see over here from Warren Davidson, these comments have aged well. We do see many unpleasant SEC clips today, so I'll finish off with a voice of reason. This is from Crypto Airy, going all the way back to September of 2021. And this, listen closely to this. This is from June of 2021, where Warren Davidson was actually even talking about crypto regulations and the adoption of crypto and how it's getting pushed outside of the US to areas like China, for an example. Listen closely.
I won't spend long on Mr. Sherman's remarks, but China is building the creepiest surveillance tool in history. We should absolutely not emulate them. The whole fact that China is doing that is why we should be embracing decentralized distributed ledger technology that is more secure and does protect privacy. We could actually go further to defending freedom and restoring our Fourth Amendment constitutional protections in the financial sector by embracing the potential of this technology, not by being hostile to it. The third-party doctrine has annihilated the whole concept of privacy. And yes, we absolutely should keep the country safe. I could spend a lot longer, but I'm reminded of Proverbs 26:4, so I won't spend longer on his comments.
So yeah, I mean, as we do really kind of look at this, I do think that decentralization, I think decentralized finance itself, digital decentralized finance, I should say, is extremely important. I think it is. And I think that outside of the US, yeah, there's a lot of things being created right now that could do significant harm to citizens. And I think that the bankers want that. I think that the bankers want a CBDC where they can control things. I mean, the central bankers are hungry for control. They've always been hungry for control and greed and power. It's the number one reason why they try to, you know, fight back against this industry the way that they have been, especially utilizing their regulators as puppeteers, because again, like, they are the ones that are pulling the strings. Like Gary Gensler he's just a face value card. I've always said this. These are individuals that are just being utilized to push their agenda and push back against, an industry that is essentially creating incredible financial opportunity for individuals like you and me, but also cutting off the source to the controlled system. Like, we are creating an entirely new financial system that is decentralized and it's not controlled, and it has a ton of opportunity financially for us to free ourselves from this controlled system that has kept us down forever. And they don't like that. They don't want that. But I do think that we are getting closer and closer and closer to the end of this case. Yes, we still have been very patient on this. It could take weeks, months. Who knows how long it's going to still take. But we do see, I think amicus briefs are essential in cases like this. Watch to hear what J.W. Verrett has to say about the SEC's fight against Ripple, as well as Johnny Deaton. Listen closely.
You think that what we're doing as token holders, like in the Ripple case, becoming amicus, will have any impact if it goes up on appeal?
I do. I've always thought that the district court's a tough place to fight. It's worth fighting. They're going to be reluctant to make new law, and Howie has been so flexible in the past that it's a tough fight, uphill fight. But I think appellate and Supreme Court is where we'll really start to make some headway, and where a lot of the nuance of the doctrine becomes more important. And that's where amicus briefs are so essential, where you can get a bunch of different perspectives. Rather than just one way to fight the SEC, you give a judge a menu of 10 different ways to overturn what the SEC is arguing. I think amicus briefs are essential in cases like this. So get the typewriter ready, man. You're going to have to do another one.
You think that what we're...
And yeah, I do think that this case, there's a lot of important information that, there is surrounding this case. But what's crazy is the fact that there's been so much transparent and clear issues that support Ripple's fight, but the SEC hasn't really given us much. Like, there hasn't been any transparent documentation to support the SEC. In fact, I honestly question on if there's really any major evidence that the SEC has on Ripple within this case. Like, yes, sure, there is a lot of the selling of XRP and things like that, but for the most part, I don't think any of it is provable for them. I think that they're just trying to delay this case as much as possible. I don't think that they care about winning this case against Ripple. I think all they care about is delaying and delaying and delaying until they create in the US, this FedNow system and the CBDC system, because all they want to do is control. And, it's all about control, power, and greed. That's pretty much all it is. But yes, we do see a few updates around this case. We do see XRP crypto will win in court. Pro Ripple attorney asserts 2 key reasons, and this is obviously Johnny Deaton. And we do see, as reported, Deaton voiced support for Coinbase's writ of mandamus, which marks another formal step to seek regulatory clarity from the SEC for the crypto industry. The writ ultimately helped us become amicus, and we helped exclude an expert as well as other things, e.g. 3,500 affidavits. I've read the Coinbase writ. It is on point, and I'm predicting a win, just like I predicted early on that Grayscale would win regarding a Bitcoin spot ETF. I researched mandamus writs 2.5 years ago. Coinbase is on solid legal grounds here. Over a year ago, I said that the crypto industry will win in court. The SEC does not have the law on its side, and the facts the SEC has created the last 6 years puts them on the losing side. And again, I think that this is also the case around the XRP case as well. I think that, I really do think that Ripple will win. Like, for an example down here, like as reported, Deaton expressed that he had no doubt Ripple would win in the Supreme Court and the SEC's gross overreach would be shut down. He says that Ripple's summary judgment brief is already an extremely well-written appellate brief. And I do think that it is. There's still a lot of things, though, that we need to wait before we say 100% that Ripple's going to win, because that's still not a clear idea. There's still a lot of things to go through with this case, but it is one of the largest cases around finance in the US that we've seen. And I ultimately think that the decision around this case, whether it be win, lose, or draw, whatever it is, it's going to put in motion a lot of things around crypto, and it could ultimately change the entire landscape going forward around not only just crypto, but also the world of finance. And outside of that, like we also look at the other areas of opportunity around crypto. Like for an example, there's a ton of things around DeFi, gaming, NFTs, tokenization, digitization. There's so much that could be fully, disrupted by crypto technology that we're kind of left thinking and wondering, like, what's going to happen if this case win is not in the favor of crypto? What if it's, going against crypto? What happens then? Will we see this asset class truly blossom into, where we believe it will be, which I've told you guys, like $50 to $100 trillion market cap. I think that this entire space is unquestionable on where it could go, but we definitely are at a turning point. I think that the US will ultimately have no choice, because we are starting to see a lot of regulatory frameworks and moves being made by other major nations. And I think that's only a matter of time until the US has to do something, because we're at a turning point. And it seems as though there's a lot of pressure on the SEC. I think that there's a ton of pressure on Gary Gensler. There's a lot of things happening within Congress as well. And we really just have to be patient. We have to wait and see what happens. I think that the world of finance currently right now, around traditional finance, the world is crumbling. Banks are starting to collapse. Inflation is out of control. The Fed does not know what to do. And whatever they do is going to still cause incredible harm to our entire economy. But we also even look at what the Treasury wants to do, printing $18 trillion in the next 7 years. I mean, how could that be sustainable? So to me, I think that the best opportunity for individuals is to get their money away from traditional finance and put it into things that are decentralized and not controlled by government entities, like crypto. I think crypto is a huge opportunity if you can choose the right assets. Utility gems, decentralized gems. These are the big ones that I've been focused on for so long on this channel. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. It's always up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.